Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. Welcome back to the Tinker Stinker Power Hour, the only show in the fantasy world that gets all your burning questions answered, give you the live updates for injuries, weather. I got my streaming defenses, streaming kickers. I got sleepers, deep dives. I got it all the best answers to your fantasy questions, as well as my own little expertise on certain things here and there. Hey, there's no better show on Sunday mornings. I can guarantee you that. Except right now we're watching a football game, and I'm sure that's distracting many of you, which is why there's only 3 people right now. But you know what? I feel like as the game winds down, we'll get more people up in here. But that's okay. Good morning to those of you that are here. And, we'll get the show starting here just a second. Paul Dickhouse today is going to be great. Let's go, TyRant. Thank you, Paul. Love your last name. Beautiful. Hello, TyRant. Hey, thanks, man. So, anyway, the usual show. Like, I thought about doing another one of the, watch alongs. But I found that like people kind of tune in and out of that, and then they miss the advice and that sort of thing. So I like doing them because it's fun to watch the game with those of you who, are in on it. But as far as the advice portion of it goes, I think a lot of people miss out on that when I do those. But, whatever. I'll still do them, when they show up every once in a while. But this week, regular show, as you can see, I don't got my background going on. I'm not sure what the fuck's going on. The lighting isn't any different. I'm not sure. For some reason this morning, though, the camera doesn't want to pick it up as well. I don't know what's going on. I'm not an expert on all this. I'm an expert on fantasy football, luckily for you, but I'm not an expert on how fucking green screen shit. I'm gonna fix some stuff with the camera here. There we go. Sorry about that. Doing some little adjustments. There we go. So yeah, not sure why the virtual background is not working very well this morning. So we got the good old boring green background. Don't worry though, with the holiday season coming up, that's going to get replaced with, Christmas shit anyway. So why not? In fact, next week, it's going to be replaced with some Halloween goodies. All right. Hey, that's the other big thing is a big announcement for next week. Hey, as my fans know, and if you're new to this show, you'll learn pretty quick. Every year for Halloween, I like to have my special guests come in. Last year, it was Wario. That was fun. And the year before that, I had Zangief from Street Fighter coming in and taking my place, answering your questions on the Halloween edition of the Tinker Stinker Power Hour. Next week, it's going to be the same. Another big time special guest. And I think you're going to love it. Definitely someone who's kind of a big name this year. I'm just going to say that. Someone who's been getting a lot of attention this year, and he's going to come on and give you guys fantasy football advice. What more can you love? Hey, thank you for everyone for showing up. We got more people piling in here as the game's winding down and that sort of thing. I'm not sure everything that's happening in that, although I can tell you right now that my call on picking up and starting Bigsby this week is looking pretty solid. So anyway, good morning. Hashtag TyRant Gang. What's up, Nick? Good to see you this morning, my friend. Matt, cheers, everyone. Happy 420. Granddaddy OG this morning. Let's fucking go week 7. Hey, Matt, good to see you here. Hey, you got, what is it, Granddaddy OG? That's not bad. This morning, I'm going with some Tropicana cookies. Yeah. That's some good shit. Tropicana cookies. If you never had it, look for it. If you're in a state that, if you smoke and you're in a state that allows you to do it, go check that out. Tropicana cookies. Good stuff. And we're going to get that lit up this morning if I can find a lighter. Oh, no, there we go. I got it. I'm good. Everything's good this morning. There's a little bit of lag, maybe. But anyway, let me know if there's any like sound issues or anything like that. I'm going to shut down Sleeper. That tends to fuck shit up. So, things should go smoother here in just a moment. StreamYard, for some reason, doesn't work well. Sleeper, I don't get it. Paul has thoughts on Rudolph starting over Levis. I don't see too much of a difference in terms of I'm not starting any either of the quarterbacks anyway, so that's not really the thought there. Thought is more like the pass catchers. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. You're either going to start them or you aren't. And we'll go over that here in just a moment. Let me take a look at something. I mean, generally speaking, give me a sec. Pull this up. So yeah, generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of starting wide receivers against Buffalo. They've been pretty good against them this year. Their defense is better than it's like it's worse than some people expected, but better than others. I don't know. It's weird. Buffalo's been weird this year, but it's not the world's greatest matchup for the wide receivers there. Although I think we're gonna see maybe a little bit better out of say Calvin Ridley, but I'm not even banking that much on it, honestly. I'm not, it's kind of like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's going to be either Hopkins or Ridley, and both of them are probably not going to be having great games. So you kind of like pick and choose. So I don't think it's going to be any more or less solid with Rudolph. It's just, I would prefer not to start anyone on that team other than Pollard, honestly, generally speaking. I mean, if you got to go with one of the wide receivers, I mean, I guess I go more with Calvin Ridley, but yeah, I don't think that Mason Rudolph starting over Levis is really, pumping my nads about that kind of a play. So there you go. Little video lag, says Gus. Yeah, I see that. Although it seems to be getting better because I shut down Sleeper on here, which sucks because I like to get the updates. But I got my phone right here, and we get updates there. Hey, Darius Slay is healthy this week. Just got that announcement. So we're going to go over injuries, of course, as usual. The usual shit. I've got some video is better. Must have been Sleeper. Yep, sure was. Sleeper's great, but yeah, it lags shit out. And I've learned that I can't have Sleeper and StreamYard. It's like they're fucking like feuding neighbors. They provide. They're both. I don't know what I was trying to say there. No, they're like just, they don't get along for whatever reason. They just don't get along. Don't know why. Anyway, so I got some questions rolling in here. I'm going to answer those, but before we get there, got a couple things to handle this morning. Let's get this lit up. Tropicana cookies, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's light this up. Some people would probably look at this going like, why am I going to ask questions of a guy who's getting high? It's like, well, first of all, if you don't, I mean, a lot of my fans don't partake in the 420, which is great. I don't mind. I don't give a fuck what you do. You do you. But let me tell you something. Some people may get high as shit off this stuff. All it is basically medicine for me. It helps me, like all the fucking crazy shit going on up here shuts the fuck up and lets me focus. Now, sometimes it takes me a second. I'll trail off for a moment because I'm, meh. But honestly, I think I'm better off doing this. And, it's good for all of you that smoke as well. We smoke together. We, if you're on your toilet trying to figure out who to start on your fantasy squad, you're smoking a J. We're having a good time. We're doing this together. Love you all. And we'll get this show on the road. But actually, one more little piece of business here. Morning beer. Good morning, everyone. Get some morning beer going. Okay. See if we can get some of that ASMR action up in here. I don't know how well that picks up on the mic. Probably not at all. But hey, a little good pour this morning. Hey, I'm getting better, right? Maybe I'll be a bartender. Who knows? If this fantasy shit doesn't work out, I'll just tend bars and pour drinks and shit. Could you imagine me as a bartender? That'd be fucking great. Be a lot of fun. All right. So anyway, good morning to all of you, and good luck. I'm gonna answer your questions. I got some streaming options there for you. Sleepers. I got my double deep danger dive of the week. We're gonna go over injuries. We're gonna go over weather. We're gonna go over it all. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. And cheers. Here you go. Never too. I know it's like 8:46 a.m. over here on the West Coast. Breakfast beer. That's a big part of fantasy football, of football in general. Sundays during football season. Breakfast beer. Who gives a shit? That's good stuff. I'm drinking the hazelnut brown. It used to be called hazelnut brown nectar. Now it's just hazelnut brown ale. Like nectar was making like guys go, I don't want fuck that. I don't want nectar in my damn beer. What? Fucking bees and hummingbirds and shit are putting shit in my beer. Fuck that. No. Excuse me. It doesn't matter. It's the same damn beer. It's Rogue. Good shit. Anyway, people are coming in and out like, what the fuck's this guy doing? He's smoking. He's drinking. Where's the fantasy football advice? It's right here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get to that in just a moment. I'm going to answer a few preliminary questions, and then I'm going to go into my usual weekly spiel where I talk about, my sleepers, deep dives, streaming defenses and kickers and all that jazz. So let's the fuck, people are dropping off. That's all right. People give me in and out. I don't give a shit. You'll come back. I'll get love from you. No worries. All right. So let's start off with a few preliminary questions, get those out of the way, and then we'll get into the rest of it. So what do we got here? Nick. All right. We already answered the Rudolph question. So Nick's got Stroud versus Green Bay or Baker versus Baltimore. I'm a big fan of CJ Stroud. I have been since he's come into the league. I picked him up in as many dynasty leagues as I could from the get-go. It was like you have to spend a lot or have a really good pick to have gotten Anthony Richardson in that draft, in a rookie draft for dynasty. So CJ Stroud to me was a really good second bet. And glad I went with him. He's been solid. Now he struggles in some of the, well, I mean, it's not really him struggling. It's just the offense itself kind of struggles in some of the against really good defenses. But I mean, like earlier this season, they faced off against Chicago and Minnesota, two of the best defenses right now, two underrated defenses coming into the league, two defenses we know right now we're not playing a lot of guys against. And earlier on in the season, we didn't quite know that. So we thought, what's going on with CJ? But no, dude, he had a solid outing against Jacksonville, had a solid outing against Buffalo, and in what would be considered a tough matchup, he had a pretty solid outing against New England last week. This week, he's got Green Bay. And I love Green Bay's defense, and I'll be getting into that later on. But, Houston, even without Nico in there, and, he's got Stephon Diggs. Sorry. He's got Tank Dell. So, I mean, I'm still liking him. Still like CJ Stroud. But probably even a bigger story, we'll say. I'm going to move this beer. I love it, but I'm going to move it. Get out of here. Anyway. But probably an even bigger story than CJ Stroud's still good. Don't worry. Is Baker Mayfield is still good. Don't worry. I mean, it wasn't a fluke last season. He's even better this season. He's been one of the top. I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure he's a top 5 QB. I mean, it might be even top 3. I'd have to look into it. But this week might be his best matchup of the year. No way am I sitting them. Am I starting him over CJ Stroud? This is what we call a good problem to have. You can't go wrong either way. So in the bright lights of Monday Night Football, yeah, give me Baker Mayfield just barely over CJ Stroud this week. Like I said, both of them are good matchups. You're not the good plays at any rate. I'm not, I mean, I know CJ Stroud's matchup isn't as great. Let me check on something here. See what's going on. So yeah, Jair Alexander's ready to go. So that might even be another reason not to start CJ Stroud. Like I said, I think Stroud's going to be fine. I think he's going to get you right around 20 points, but Baker could get you 25, maybe more. So yeah, give me Baker this week. Good question. Man, says Matt. Matt, what you got? Defense-wise, Vikings and Browns and PPR. Vikings, every fucking week, you just start them. If you got the Vikings, you're starting them every week. They're one of those like studly defenses. They're the number one defense in fantasy points per game. They're one of the best and underrated defenses in for real football. So yeah, I'm firing them up this week. Whether the matchups are good or not, as far as the Vikings go, it hasn't really mattered. And I know you got Detroit, and I know that it's an ill-advised start. I get it. Detroit's going to score some points. But the thing is, the Minnesota's defense has been good enough to where, I mean, against high-scoring teams like San Francisco, Houston, Green Bay, they're still putting up solid numbers. This could potentially be their worst week. And yeah, it kind of sucks. But if you can't, unless you can afford to like keep them and like pick up the Browns or something, or if you're saying you already have both teams, I think that, hold on. I just feel like the Browns going up against the Bengals is not a good start for them. Not a good start. So with both teams kind of having, we'll say, minus matchups versus plus matchups, I'm going to go with the team that's better, and that's the Vikings. So there you go. Neither are big matchup plays this week. They both kind of got, lower end matchups, but Vikings have been so solid this year, even against the Lions. I'm liking them because the Lions will score some points, but then there's going to be a lot of throw-in. Goff has those games where he just fucks it up or he shits the bed, and it could be happening this week against the Vikings. So I like him. All right, Richard, what's up, my man? Good morning on a little time due to work. I get it. Downs are Irving and Standard this week. Don't like the three-man committee and nervous Richardson is QB, but buys are in effect. Yeah. It's either way, it's not a good start for Irving, and I love Bucky Irving. It's a really tough matchup. I want to check something. How's Rashad White's status? Is he playing? He's still questionable for Monday. We don't really know. It's kind of unknown, but it sounds to me, and this is what Todd Bowles has been saying, sounds to me like we're going to have a three-headed monster, all right? And a three-headed monster is good for real football, not for fantasy football. I think Bucky Irving's still the best back out of all of them. Sean Tucker had a fucking monster week last week. But I think that's one of those things, like those game script kind of things, and it just happened. I was telling people to pick him up this week, but don't start him this week. If for some reason he has another big week, then we're going to have a weird situation at the running back position for the Bucks, where the number one guy is the third best running back on the team. So it's a weird situation. I'm kind of staying away from that this week because it's not a great matchup against Baltimore. Baltimore's super solid against running backs, giving up only like the third least fantasy points to starting running backs. So I'm actually sitting him this week. I know that Anthony Richardson is sketchy. We've seen him do it. We've seen that he can play. We know that he can. He's been dealing with some injury. I think he's healthy now. I think he's going to get enough work to Downs. Downs isn't going to have the same production necessarily as he did with Flacco. And I think Flacco would be a better start for the Colts, but they gotta go with the guy. And Anthony Richardson can get shit done. He's just got to reacclimate and solidify more with that gel more with that offense. And I think that he'll be fine. Love him in Dynasty, not so much this year in redraft, but I still think this is going to be enough work for Downs to where he's startable. So I'm gonna say. Even in a standard league, I like Downs a little bit more. I just down on Irving. I'm down on all the running backs for the Bucks. One of them could fucking blow up, or all of them have 5 to 10 points. We don't know. It's a three-headed monster. We're not sure exactly how they're gonna do that this week. Too many questions. I actually like Downs. I think that he's a solid play this week. Matt, PPR, my flex, Cooper, Irving, Mason, Downs, going against league leader. I need to crush him this week. All right, so here we go. Amari Cooper just got traded to Buffalo. And while I think that's going to end up being a boon for Cooper and, Cooper owners alike. I've got some Cooper that I'm happy that happened. I think it's going to be a good rest of the season for him. I think that Josh Allen's finally going to have a star wide receiver to throw to as Coleman kind of, learns the ropes. Excuse me. But this week, I'm not starting him. I know that he has had good games when he started on new teams. And that makes me think, okay, well, maybe. But I've been reading a lot of stuff about this, and he's still getting acclimated to that offense. And I don't know how much I can trust him. That being said, I already just said Bucky Irving's matchup and the whole situation with the three-headed monster there on Monday for Tampa Bay. I'm not big on it. Jordan Mason. He's got Kansas City this week. Kansas City's given up the least fantasy points to running backs. Jordan Mason is not CMC, okay? He's great. Excuse me. And in most matchups, he's going to be pretty solid. However, we've seen Isaac Garendo coming in there. We've seen Patrick Taylor coming in there. I'm not going to say it's going to be a full committee three-headed monster situation, but with Jordan Mason coming back, he might be, I think that he's going to have most of his workload this week. But the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan are smart enough to know if they can start some of those other guys or play some of those other guys to kind of spell some of those carries and worry from Jordan Mason, they will. And the matchup itself isn't great. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling Jordan Mason this week. I don't think I'm sitting him in a lot of matchups. I mean, at least a flex play for the most part. But, if you've got solid options to replace him, and in this case, and it's a rough one because it's like Downs, like I just said, I think he's going to get some, a good amount of production despite AR being the one starting there. I think he's got a fine matchup. These are all some good question marks, which is why you have 3 question marks there. I can see because that's what's going on in my head. 3 question marks. Well, who the hell? Because Bucky Irving. Let's go ahead and eliminate him right there. Jordan Mason, like I said, I'm just worried about that matchup. I really am. It's in PPR. I'm going Cooper or Downs. Going against you, yeah, that's really good. Let me put it this way. I mean, you're saying that you're going against league leader and you need to crush him this week. All right. I hear you. And there's some leagues in which I am starting Cooper because, he has had good games when he's first started. Let me see. I'm going to look at. There's just a lot of wide receivers, a lot of mouths to feed there in Buffalo. You got Shakir, Coleman, Mac Hollins, Curtis Samuel, and now you got Cooper in there. I think, he's just had 1 week to practice with them. So, I mean, I don't. I feel like he'd be a better, more solid start in better games The game isn't that great. It's against the Tennessee. They're giving up like the second least fantasy points to running our wide receivers. So I'm going to go Downs this week. It's not the world's greatest play, but from those four guys, I like Downs best this week. You could go Downs or Mason. If it was standard, I'd probably lean a little bit more toward Mason. I just really worried about that matchup against the Chiefs, and I'm worried about Garendo and Patrick Taylor taking a little bit away from him, as Mason is, first week back from injury. I think he's good to go, but the 49ers are smart. They know there's a lot of question marks there with like CMC, for instance. When's he going to come back? What's he going to look like when he comes back? Is he going to get re-injured? How did the stem cells take, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they want to make sure to keep Jordan Mason healthy. So I think this week I'm sitting Mason. Yeah, go with Downs. I think that Downs will get you probably like 10 to 15 fantasy points. You might be getting 10 at best from Cooper, Irving, and Jordan Mason 10 to 12. So you got a little bit of an edge there for Downs this week. Mesa. Alejandro, what's up, my man? Everyone's got Downs and Cooper questions this week. Everyone's got Downs. I shouldn't say that. Downs, Cooper, Wilson, Watson. Okay, how many am I picking here? I don't see any indication as to what you want there. So there you go. Anyway, Downs, Cooper, Wilson. Well, I'm starting Garrett Wilson. I mean, I know that like people are like, oh, Devontae Adams is coming in, so we can't start Wilson anymore. But that's bullshit. In fact, it might actually help Wilson because there's going to be attention taken away from him, and Wilson will be open a little bit more. I think that Devontae Adams comes in and plays kind of the same role that Lazard's been playing, the spoiler, so to speak. Okay. And I think Lazard kind of takes a back seat. So I like Wilson this week. Christian Watson's an interesting prospect. I just think with Dobbs and Reed in there, just you don't know who's going to be the guy. Watson, if they get lucky on a big downfield throw and he gets a touchdown, hey, he's got a big day. But I like the solid play more from Reed. I like the upside, just overall upside from Dobbs a little bit better. So, but that being said, Cooper, like I said, I'm not solid with him. It's a bad matchup. It's his first week with the Bills. We don't know. He could have a big game, but he could also shit the bed. And I don't like that kind of volatility. All right. So Downs, he can have a solid week or he could have nothing depending on what AR does. Wilson, I think, is solid. Watson. So really for me, it's Wilson for sure. So we'll go Wilson, Watson, Downs, Cooper in that order. So there you go. Nick, Downs versus Miami. Downs, what the fuck? Everyone's got Downs. That's terrible. That's not true at all. Anyway, Downs versus Miami or Judy versus Cincy. I'm going Judy because, and I'm going to get more into exactly why, but just a little preview for later. But for now, I'll just say, Amari Cooper's gone. Someone's got to get balls. Cincy's going to score points. So we're going to need somebody catching balls. I think it's going to be Judy and Njoku. That's really all they have. That's really all Watson's got right now. So I like it. Now he could pepper in a bunch of things. We could have, 4 or 5 different guys get 2 or 3 targets apiece. That we could see. Absolutely. But I think that Downs with AR, he's still competing with Pittman, Pierce, there's other players there. Adonai, So, yeah, Judy's got basically no competition other than Njoku, essentially. So I like Judy better in that matchup. Paul, what's up? Fantasy football is sometimes a feeling and a player. I feel like O'Connell has good numbers today. My thoughts. I think that Aiden O'Connell is a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. I don't even know why they went with Minshew. I think that last season we saw a little bit of a spark from Aiden O'Connell. And I was talking about that in the offseason, in the preseason. I was saying if O'Connell gets control of this offense, I think the offense is better. And I think that we're going to see the same. We're going to see that come to fruition. And that might be a boon for certain pass catchers. I think that, Trey Tucker's a good solid play this week. I think that, of course, Bowers he's going to be the main target there. Zamir White could get better as the season progresses. He was having his biggest games last season when he was starting. So was O'Connell, and Zamir White was the top 10 running back last 4 weeks of the season. What happened this season? They started Gardner Minshew. That's what fucking happened. So, yeah, I like O'Connell. I don't know if I'm starting him, except for like maybe a DFS punt play. Sure. But, give me Bowers, give me Tucker this week. Otherwise, I'm worried about pretty much starting anybody else on that team. But I still think that O'Connell is a better start for the Raiders than Minshew. Oh, it's hazelnut. That's breakfast. Enough drink on, King. Damn right. And I will. Hazelnut brown nectar. You're right. That is totally breakfasty. As a breakfast beer goes, what more breakfasty you can get? There's an oatmeal stout. That's pretty good. But I like this. Hazelnut. Yeah. Solid. Okay. Harpreet Singh. You added the Kang. That's new. Harpreet Singh Kang. You got 3 names now. I like it. Let's go. Hashtag TyRant Gang. You're right. For flex, Hunter Hill, standard scoring. Pick one, Murray, Darnold, or Purdy. All right, so we got quarterback question. We got flex question. Hunter Hill. In standard scoring, I think I'm going to lean toward Hunt this week. I know that like there's this big thing where I put my entire fucking career, reputation, everything on the line, saying Kareem Hunt is not going to be a stud over like what at that time said the next 6 weeks. He's had one good game. So I think my prediction's fine. I think my career is okay. Don't worry about it. I ain't going anywhere. I'm not quitting fantasy football or nothing because I don't think that Kareem Hunt is it's not he's not going to turn out to be a stud. Like I said, he wouldn't be. However, it doesn't mean that he's not going to have another serviceable game. His last game, in which I already said, and I predicted from the beginning when he first came in, I said, this is a week you're going to start Hunt against New Orleans. I thought that was a good outing. Then he's got the bye. They're preparing for San Francisco. So, it's San Francisco is kind of middling against the run. They've been getting healthier on defense, so look out for that. However, I'm looking at something here. For the next couple weeks, you're probably going, Hunt is someone that you're going to start in your flex. He's going to be a flex play next couple weeks. I think he could put up RB2 numbers. I'm not seeing big time RB1 numbers from him, but I think that that's actually a good play. Now, until Tua comes back, I don't know if we're using Tyreek Hill very much. I've got him sitting in a lot of leagues. I have in the ones that I have, I think there's one league where I'm starting him because I have to. But yeah, it's been rough. And I think Huntley helps a little bit, but not enough to where I'm really solid with starting him in standard. So I think in standard, I'm going Hunt just barely over Hill this week. As far as your quarterback question, I'm worried about Murray and what he's been doing. He's been just so volatile and so hard to predict. And everyone, including me, coming into the season was stoked. We're like, here we go. As long as he's healthy, That's going to be a good thing for him. And he's had some great weeks. Week 2, week 5. But other than that, he's been kind of garbage. And it's not a great matchup this week. He's got Marvin Harrison back, and that's going to help. But I don't see that being a high scoring game against the Chargers. So yeah, that's not big on starting him this week. I'm in leagues that I have him. I think if I have another quarterback, I've been starting them, or I picked someone else. Like I picked up Baker Mayfield. I'm starting Baker Mayfield over him. I'm starting Purdy over him for sure. So really, for me, it's between Darnold and Purdy this week. And pull something up here. So, Kansas City is hard to run against, but you can throw against them. You can. Purdy's been somewhat solid this season. He's getting you at least 15 fantasy points a game, which, you want more than that from a quarterback. But then he's had games, against the Rams where he had put up 25. Against the Seahawks last week, he puts up 31 fantasy points. Boom. Love it. Great. Big time numbers there from Brock. Big Cock Brock. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl. I know Brock Purdy's going to be on. He's got all his weapons healthy, ready to go out there. I think that he has a solid week. Probably gets you around 20 fantasy points, right on. Give or take a little bit, but he's going to be right around that 20 fantasy point range. Darnold going up against Detroit. It's in one way, it's a solid matchup because there's going to be a lot of points scored. However, Detroit is pretty good against quarterbacks, fairly decent. Not like not to the point where I'm not starting quarterbacks against them. But that makes this a really close matchup between Darnold and Purdy. Both guys have their guys healthy now. Both guys are in matchups that they can exploit, that they can beat. It's really a gut call for me as far as my rankings go. I have Purdy ranked one spot over Darnold. So I'll say this: if you think that Darnold is, if you're personally feeling Darnold, stick with it. If you're personally feeling Purdy, stick with that. It's really a toss-up, a coin toss between the two. If I'm, gun to my head, coming off of a bye, being well prepared for a team, then you're going to score a lot of points. Actually, I'm probably going to, I have Purdy ranked above. I had him till today. It's really back and forth. I think again, it's a coin flip. If I'm going to flip a coin, I do like the idea of Darnold starting in a game where you're going to score a lot of points. Brock Purdy, I think he's got the higher ceiling, but I think Donald's got the higher floor this week. So if you need the big play and you want to make sure that you get, if you need to take a risk to get some big points this week, I'd say start Purdy. If you're comfortable with your team and you're comfortable with the floor, give me Darnold. It's really, really a coin flip for me. If gun to my head, if I have to choose one, that's what I'm saying. Go with the floor play with Darnold, or if you need to shoot for the stars, go Purdy. There you go. Erica, good to see you this morning. Smiling face and the peace sign. I love it. It brings a nice energy to my show. And thank you, Erica. You've been in the Fantasy Kingdom Redraft League this year. You've been a bright spot there as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the hashtag TyRant Gang. All right. Appreciate that. Order of preference: Amari Cooper, Wandale Robinson, Alan Lazard. I'm benching Tyler since I have DK in my lineup. I know it doesn't make sense to start both. Need to make up for Sutton's goose egg. Yeah, what the fuck was that about? I think here's what's going on in Denver, and then I'll get back to the rest of your question. I think what's going on in Denver is that is exactly what I told everybody in the preseason. I was in a lot of leagues, a lot of dynasty leagues, and I was picking up Troy Franklin. And I was actually making, hey, another touchdown for Bigsby. Hey, for all those I told to start Tank Bigsby, you're welcome. Anyway, yeah, like I was telling a lot of people, and I was in a lot of dynasty leagues where I was trading up for and picking up Franklin. People were asking, you seem to be all about Franklin. What you got? What's your inside info, TyRant? The inside info is I'm a Ducks fan. And I know what, and it's not just like a homer pick, because here's the deal. Denver, they decided to go with Bo Nix and Franklin. There you go. It's kind of like the Burrow Chase situation, or the Tua Waddle situation. All right. You bring in the quarterback and his guy, they're going to get the job done. I think that Franklin's taken over the wide receiver spot there. I think before the end of this season, he's going to be the wide receiver one. That's what's going on there. Now to get back to the rest of your question here. Amari Cooper, Wan'Dale Robinson, Alan Lazard. Like I said, I think that Adams coming in is going to kind of take a lot away from Lazard. I think that's going to be the main victim of Adams going there is going to be Lazard. I think he's going to kind of drop off. I don't think completely. I think there'll be weeks when he's usable, but it remains to be seen. I think that he's going to take the back seat there. Amari Cooper, like I said, could be a solid start. We just don't know. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. He doesn't know the playbook. He could come out and just blow it up, sure, but it's a very risky play. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. I know Neighbors is coming back, but I think let me check something. I think that's going to more affect other pass catchers. So like Darius Slayton, for instance, he's a good, solid, play, or he's good to go for this game. But I wouldn't play him because Neighbors is coming back. However, I'm still going to start Wan'Dale Robinson. I like Robinson over both those guys this week. Now Cooper again. If you really need a solid, or if you really need like a lottery play, like a fucking boom or bust play, you need it this week, sure, go Cooper. But the solid play for me is Robinson. Great question, though. Thanks, Erica. Alejandro, we got Achane, Robinson, Brown, or Mason in PPR. I worry about Achane in that offense. He's healthy now, and that's great. It's concussion. I'm not worried about like his workload lessening because of that or anything weird like that. I'm just saying that this offense just looks fucking terrible. Just looks absolutely awful without Tua. Achane's output since that injury is, 8.8, 5.9, 2.7 fantasy points, and this isn't PPR. That's fucking gross. Absolutely just disgusting. Like, I want to fucking vomit right now looking at this. I'm glad I don't have as much Achane as other people, because I was kind of pissed off about that at first, but now I'm okay with it. It's supposed to be, it should be a fine matchup, but you got Mostert back in there. Jalen Wright's in there as well. It's just that the offense runs like shit under anybody but Tua. Like I said, Huntley, maybe it's going to be a little bit better than, say, Skylar Thompson, but not by enough to where I'm boosting up Achane. We've already seen what he does with Huntley. It ain't that great. 3 attempts for 18 yards. Good fucking God. I mean, I know that he got taken out earlier that game, but still, even before that, 10 attempts, 15 yards. Jesus. That's against Tennessee, whatever. Before that, against Seattle, who can be beat? 8.8 fantasy points, 11 attempts, 30 rushing yards. It's just this offense runs like complete garbage under anybody but Tua. So I can't recommend Achane as a start. So really, for me, it's between Chase Brown and Robinson. Robinson's starting. I like him. Fire him up. At least that's what I'm seeing. I want to double check that. That's what I was seeing. It's like he's going to start. So unless something fucking changed, which we know that it can, and that's the weird shit. Is like sometimes it can. He's expected to play. He's been limited in practice throughout the week, but if they're going to play him, it's a great matchup against Carolina. You can't get better than that. So I mean, yeah, go ahead and give me Robinson this week. Chase Brown's okay. So I'd probably go Robinson, Brown, Mason, Achane in that order. Carolyn, good to see you. See, I need 7, 2 running backs for sure. Cook, Pollard, Achane, Walker, Mason, Deontay. Yeah, it's a good pack here. So let's see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got to sit 3. Well, I'm sitting Achane, like I said. I like Cook. I like Pollard. I like let me check on Walker real quick. Because I mean, if he's playing, and I think he is, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's definitely playing. He's active. He had that illness, right? And we were worried about like, okay, well, what could happen? Hey, he's playing. We've seen it before. Illnesses, most part, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't mean shit. As long as they're playing, he's solid. I'm keeping him in for sure. So Cook, Pollard, Walker, absolutely. Reed, I'm not sitting. Tank Dell, I'm not sitting. I think Tank with Nico out, it's gonna be 1A and 1B between him and Stephon Diggs as far as the targets are going for the Houston Texans. And really, between the two of them, it's going to switch off who's the 1A and who's the 1B. But either way, I'm starting both those guys no matter what. So you got Cook, Pollard, Walker. That's 3. Tank Dell, Reed for sure. I'm never sitting Reed at all. So there's 5. So you need 2 more. Deontay Johnson, solid game. And yeah, I'm going to be looking for a lot of good usage out of him. I've got some more information I'm going to have to apparently speed through once I get there because a lot of questions this week. I like it. It's good. It makes for a solid show. Whittington might be a good play with Kupp still going to be out. Puka, of course, is still out for the Rams. I can't sit Marvin Harrison, though. So there you go. I'm sitting Achane, like I said. I'm sitting Mason because that matchup just worries me. And then I got to sit Whittington because, I mean, Tutu could get in there. You got Robinson, you got Johnson. So, I mean, it could be a different guy every week. I don't have enough confidence in the Rams and any Rams wide receiver right now to start him over guys like Tank Dell, over guys like Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison is still going to get enough to have a solid week, even though I don't expect Kyler to have the best week in the world. But anyway, there you go. So I'm sitting Whittington, I'm sitting Achane, I'm sitting Mason. There you go. Hashtag TyRant Gang for life. Yeah. Speak the truth, brother. Preach on, Mr. Mesa. Downs, Wilson, Watson, Cooper. Didn't I already do that? I picked 2 for you. Yeah. Who would I say? I said Wilson and Watson. Didn't I? It's between Watson and Downs. But give me Watson this week. Makes a couple big throws downfield. I like it. Achane, Robinson, Mason, or Brown. Pick 2. I'm going Robinson and Chase Brown. Not starting Achane until Tua comes back. And like I said, that Mason matchup and with Garendo and Taylor in there, and he's coming off that injury. It's just a perfect storm of shit. It's a perfect shit storm, and I ain't starting people who are in a perfect shit storm. So there you go. Robinson and Chase Brown are the picks for me this week. Pollard or Eckler or Najee? Pollard, because Robinson's starting. So I ain't starting Eckler. Najee, you'll have his good weeks and bad weeks. Pollard's got a real solid start this week. Love Pollard this week. Pick 2. We already got through that. Sorry for sending twice. You're the wise man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mark Andrews or Lockett or Chubb on flex. I ain't starting Chubb. Okay. I'm waiting at least a week on him. So we're gonna see what he does. Of course, if he fucking comes back and he blows it up, which makes no sense coming off that injury at his age, it's so fucking rare that would happen. Not a chance am I starting Chubb this week. And if he has a great game, he's a fucking god. And then you're starting him and you're never sitting him. And he might be one of those guys like Frank Gore that just lasts forever then. Okay, fine. I just don't see that being the case. That's why we were down on him coming into the season. So I'm staying off of Chubb this week. Staying off of Mandrews until we see more solid production from him. I actually do like Tyler Lockett this week. I know DK's getting his. Smith and Jigba's getting some, but it's been a thing. Let me look at something here. And I'll get to what that thing is. Excuse me. No, he's been solid as far as his targets are going. He's only had one game where he's had less than 6 targets. Tyler Lockett, and he's catching most of those. That offense just looks better than last season. I think Tyler Lockett's a solid play. I mean, I've been playing him in leagues that I have him. So I like of those 3, I definitely like Tyler Lockett. If you're down on Mason, is Goodson or Sermon better? The problem with the Goodson Sermon thing is like, okay, Sermon is most likely going to be the play, but Goodson could be the spoiler. I would stay away from that if you can. But of those 3, I'm probably going to start Sermon because he's most likely I know he didn't have a great week last week, but the week before that he was solid. So he's kind of a matchup based guy when he's the guy. Taylor, you can excuse me. Taylor, you can start against anyone. Tennessee Titans are great against running backs. That was a tough run for him last week. But then against Jacksonville, even in the loss, the guy, he was getting targets. He was getting, and that's one of the things is that he'll get a lot of targets as well. A lot of check down stuff. And then you worry, okay, well, AR is going to be running as much. But here's the thing, though. He's coming back from injury. I don't think they're going to want him to put him in harm's way so much. So I'm not as worried about him taking the runs away from Sermon. It's a great matchup against Miami. They should get up early. A lot of garbage time points for Sermon. I like both Sermon and Goodson as far as that end goes. Who's going to get the better of it? Probably Sermon. Could go either way. But I like Sermon just a little bit over Mason this week. Ertz or Otten, I'm playing Mike Evans. I like them both, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit. And I'm going to have to speed through that because, damn, we're running out of time here. But here we go. This shit. Well, I'm going to answer the questions. I'm going to speed through everything as best I can. So, really, Ertz. So, I'm playing Mike Evans. Yeah, go Ertz this week. Start Bills D 100%. I'm starting Bills D in any league that I have them in. 100. There you go. It's been Bills, Packers, Denver Broncos, which worked out like a charm, and Colts. Those are the 4 defenses I've been starting this week. Mike's answering questions. He says, Donald. All right. Singletary. What? As I'm not sure who you're asking about there. Oh, Achane. Okay. There we go. Give me Singletary this week. I don't know about Mike says Achane. No. Well, I know Singletary or Achane. It's a lot closer. But I'm just down on Achane, honestly. So you say no Achane to start. Please pick one. Mason, Achane, or Irving. Bucky Irving. Give me Mason over both of those guys this week. Oh, and Zach Moss. Oh, fuck. Um, all of those are terrible. uh, man, let me look at something real quick. Just I don't know. He had the fumble. Zach Moss did. That kind of killed his day. It's just I can't. I think that Brown is just taking so much more of that those touches away. Those are not good choices, but I'm going with Mason. Jones or Hunt this week. It's not a great matchup for Jones. But he could get some pass catching work. Now Addison's back, and that's going to take a little bit more away from him as far as that goes. Hunt. Oh, I got to go Jones this week. Just barely. Smash that like and subscribe. Yeah, please do, everyone. But yeah, no, Jones, because he could get some pass catching work, because it's not the world's greatest matchup, but he can sneak in a touchdown. Jones is solid. I'm going with Jones this week. I think Chandler will take some touches away. It might be, but if Jones is rocking, he's rolling. I like him. Smash that like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Absolutely. Hey, if you're watching this and you're getting information and you're getting help, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It does a lot of help for me to help you. Hey, appreciate that. Another one, Tyler Lockett is a solid play. TyRant 2024. Yeah, this week. I know I've been down on Lockett and stuff because it's always like I like DK better. I think Njigba's going to be in there, but Lockett always fucking I can't. I'm not going to recommend him every week, but he's been a solid start this season. I can't deny that. Manpreet at Wall, what's up? Good to see you. I don't know if I've seen you on here before. Welcome to the hashtag TyRant Gang. If you've been a subscriber but silent, thank you for chiming in. Pick 3, full PPR. Downs, Pickens, Bowers, Worthy, Whittington. I'm going to go Bowers for sure. Worthy. San Francisco is vulnerable to the slot. I like Worthy this week. Pickens may be a good, solid play with Wilson, but it's hard to trust. Whittington, again, it's kind of hard to trust that. I think Downs does get some decent work this week. Okay, give me Worthy, Bowers, and Downs. It's either Downs or Pickens, but I want to go with what I know, and I know that Downs is number 2 for targets, but I mean, I think he could be it's either going to be him or Pittman is the top targeted guy in that game, and it could be him. It could be that he gets just under what Pittman gets. He's going to be up there, though. They're not the best targets in the world because they're coming from Anthony Richardson. But I think that Downs is a solid play over Pickens this week. I want to see what happens with the whole, because the rumor is that Wilson's starting this week. So we'll see what happens. Need the upside play here at quarterback. Dylan Fink. What's up, Dylan? Good to see you. Full PPR. Richardson versus Dolphins or Baker versus Baltimore. I'm going Baker 100%. Obviously, better fantasy QB right now is Baker. Do or die win for my fantasy season. I'm going Baker. I don't like Richardson coming back off that injury. He hasn't looked great this season. I want to see him get more solidified with that offense before I'm starting him again, unless I have to. I don't think it's a bad start, but versus Baker's got a great matchup this week. People say, oh, Baltimore Ravens, we're afraid of that, but not really. If you're a running back, sure. But as far as like for quarterbacks, for the wide receivers. I'm going Baker Mayfield. I mean, I think it's a good play. Baltimore's given up the third most, points to quarterbacks this season. So I actually really like Baker this week. Deep state or Trump? Oh my God, do we really got to get political with it here? Deep state or Trump? I will never pick the deep state over anything. That's all I'm going to say there. All right, so that's all the questions I see there. Oh wait, it looks like I skipped one. Richard McConkey or Tracy. So embarrassed to ask this, but it's a 12-man league. Go with Lad McConkey. He's been the top target there for Herbert, or around that, and I feel like that's going to be the case going forward. And Singletary's in there, so I'm not starting Tracy. So there you go. If you got some more questions, throw them in real quick. But real quick, I just want to go over my sleepers, streamers, and that sort of thing. So we're just gonna rush through this because time's wasting. We got 24 minutes till game start. I got stuff I got to do, to set my lineups. I got to do my tinker sticker too. So let's run through this. Here we go. Sleepers. I like Trey Sermon as a possible sleeper at running back. He played well as Jonathan Taylor's replacement last in week 5, and last week he had a really bad matchup. I forgive him for that. This week he's got the best matchup I've seen so far against the Dolphins, who have given up the third most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Now Goodson may steal some touches, but I expect Sermon to still get the bulk of the touches this week. Dolphins have let Tony Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson pad their stats with big performances, so I think Sermon gives you solid running back 2 numbers or better this week. All right, there you go, Sermon. So that backs up what I was saying. I like Sermon in a lot of those matchups that you were asking about earlier. Wide receiver, hey, Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, he's owned in less than 50% of leagues, believe it or not. The Browns have looked solid. The Browns have looked about as solid as the Sugar Shits this year, but they're going to need to catch up with the Bengals, who are going to score some points. So that means a lot of garbage time potential. Amari Cooper is gone, and Jerry Jeudy has actually been getting some work in this offense. More so earlier in the season before Cooper started warming up, but now that Cooper's out, I do expect Jeudy to get the bulk of the passing work along with David Njoku, who I think is another great start this week at tight end. If you got him, start him. Nick Chubb's returning, and that should light a fire under the offense in general. I don't think he's going to blow it up this week, but it might get that offense excited and rolling. So Jerry Jeudy could be a good start at your flex this week. No, I'm not sitting studs for him, but if you're struggling to fill your bye week or your flex in the bye weeks, that kind of thing, I'd give Jeudy a shot. Quarterback this week. Believe it or not, Andy Dalton. I can't believe I'm actually recommending the Red Rocket as a start in 2024. But, that's just the fucking wacko-ass balls out year that it's been this year. But here we are. He's been serviceable since starting for the Panthers. He's made Deontay Johnson relevant again, which is good. He's got the Commanders' piss poor passing D to contend with this week, so he could break through with a 20-point outing. Possible. Could happen. I think he's more of a 2 QB league filler option or cheap DFS play, but the matchup's about as good as it gets, and he's hitting a good stride in that offense right now. So ask me about who I'm starting over him, of course, before you plug and play him. But I think he could be a solid top 20 QB play this week. I know it sounds crazy, but that's where we're at. Tight end, I like Cade Otton. Going back to your question earlier there, Carolyn, I like Cade Otton. If he weren't playing in the early morning game, I would have said Hunter Henry, and that turned out that was would have been a good play, but I couldn't predict that, so whatever. I had to go with Otton, which is fine. Like I said, Njoku's a good play as well if you got him. I think that you're starting Zach Ertz again, and while that's the easiest move, I'm going to try not to repeat myself week to week. Zach Ertz, I said, was a start last week. That turned out good. I think he's going to start again this week. I have him just slightly over Otton, but if you don't have Ertz, I'd say Otton's a good guy to start this week. Let's see. He's a guy I've been high on since he's coming in the league. I said eventually this is going to be a guy you're going to be starting every week, and we might be there now. He's been targeted 6+ times in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He's kind of become Baker Mayfield's number 3 option behind Evans and Godwin. So in games where I expect the Bucs to score a lot, I like Otton as a start. And this week on a big stage of Monday Night Football, He's got his best matchup yet against the Ravens, who are surrendering the 8th most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. So they can be had over the middle. They can be had, from the tight end spot. And like I said, they can be had through the air. Quarterbacks are having success against them. It's the running backs that are not so much. That's why I'm down on Bucky Irving. That's why I'm down on that 3-headed monster at running back this week. But I'm up on people like Kate Otten. Now, tight end, of course, has been a mess this season, so clean it up with Otten this week. Yeah. Ugh. Now let's go to my double deep danger dives where I'm staying with tight end. That's rare. Yeah, I like Grant Calcaterra. Now, Dallas Goedert's out once again, and we know that Jalen Hurts loves throwing to his tight end. And in relief of Goddard, Calcaterra had a solid outing as tight end plays go, at least, last week, securing 4 out of 4 targets for 67 yards. No touchdown, but that could change this week. He could get a touchdown this Sunday. He could get a touchdown today. But anyway, so and that was against Cleveland. It was a pretty good defense. He got 67 yards out of 4 and 4, catching 4 out of 4 targets. That was actually good enough for a tight end 12 last week, believe it or not. So that's a starting play in 12-team leagues. The matchup isn't great this week, but that doesn't really matter so much for tight ends. He had a better matchup this week even than last week. So I still expect Calcaterra to get enough target volume to be a borderline top 12 tight end this week. All right. So there you go. There's my double deep danger dive of the week. Grant Calcaterra. I'm not going to be starting him in anything but, as a DFS punt, possibly. So there you go. Decent DFS play. Could be a sneaky play there. Streaming defenses this week. Hey, it's the Colts. I recommended starting them last week, and that wasn't a bad pick for those of you who listen. This week they could have even more success against the tool-less Dolphins team who bends over for opposing defenses like a desperate crack whore. All right? Give the Colts a start this week. They're great in plus matchups. They've been predictable. That's a great matchup this week, so I'm starting them. Green Bay. They're still okay. Stop if you heard this one. The Packers have quietly been the second highest scoring fantasy defense so far this season and are only owned in 46% of leagues. Wait, deja vu. Didn't I say the exact same thing last week? Yeah, I actually did. I didn't have to change the script on that at all. What the fuck? Why is he still available in the same amount of leagues? What's going on? Nothing's changed. It's fucking wild. How are we sleeping on this D? I know Houston can score points, but I can't argue with consistency. Good matchups, bad matchups. Green Bay's been getting it done with the D. Even in a less than stellar matchup, I'm picking up Green Bay in every league that I can, unless I've got a super solid D that I don't want to drop. And it's been Denver, Green Bay, and Indianapolis for me this week for my streaming options, like I was telling you, and then the Bills as well. Those are like 4 most solid defenses. Get them. Get Green Bay if they're available, and hold on to them until they're bye. That's what I do. You should do the same. Also, I like Cincinnati this week. I know it's a risky play if you can't get any of those other guys. Cincinnati though might be a good start. They're going against Cleveland. They don't have Amari Cooper. That offense looks fucking awful. They're in rebuild mode. Chubb comes back, but I don't think he returns to form. Cooper's gone. I just think that the Browns, with all this going, they just let themselves go like a 42-year-old fantasy football analyst with the dad bod. We don't know anybody like that, do we? Anyway, shut up. Don't say anything. I'm sensitive. No, I'm kidding. Start the Bengals this week if you missed out on those better options. As far as kickers go, it's Austin Seibert, still available in a ton of leagues. I don't know why, people are sleeping on him. He hasn't been a household name, but he's getting it done. Had a 17-point outing last week, and it's not even supposed to be that great of a matchup. I told you to start him last week still. And if you were smart and you did it, it was a good play. Hey, I also like Brandon McManus this week. Dude can kick. He's the new kicker for Green Bay. Green Bay is going to kick some. They're going to get points. They're going to get points against Houston. I like Brandon McManus. Kind of a sneaky play there. Dude kicks well when he kicks. I like him. I like him as a solid like really sneaky pick. He's only rostered in 8% of leagues, but there you go. And excuse me. Um, sorry, I'm looking at. I think Matt Gay is another good choice this week against the Dolphins. He's only rostered in 15% of leagues. Guy was a solid kicker last year. Yeah, there's some struggle with, seeing, of course, when Flacco comes in, he's better. I think that, Anthony Richardson can play against the Dolphins well enough to at least get them down in the red zone. Maybe they get stopped a couple of times, and that's some good, solid points, some kicks there for Gay. There you go. So there's all my streaming. There's everything. Injuries, I didn't have any injury questions, so I'm not concerned about that. Weather, I'm not really concerned about much. Hey, thank you so much for all your support. There's only a few of you left because you're getting ready to get your lineups and things set. If you didn't hear me before, though, in the beginning, come back next week. Big Halloween show. I'll be talking about it all week. I'll be sending out links and messages, this and that, putting like little spooky hints there and that, or who's going to be the special. I get to take next week off. I got someone else coming in to do this for me. Someone really good. All right. I'll give you a hint. This guy's not just a host. He's a host with the most. There's your little hint. But anyway, find out who will be taking my place for the Halloween show next week. Good luck, everyone, says Harpreet. Hey, good luck to you, sir. Sorry, had to, talking about the deep state. Whatever. You didn't have to do shit. I'm just kidding. Good luck to you. Hey, good luck to everyone, of course. Love you all. And you'll get to see who my 1 week replacement is next week. I get the week off. All right. So, hey, until the week after that, good luck, everyone. Love you all. And I'm out. Peace.